Pego y los Bais, Stories of Nature. There is a place in Spain where the countryside lives in perfect harmony with nature. Northeast of Alicante, in the Marina Alta region, lies Pego y los Bais. Man and nature have always coexisted here respectfully for centuries. In today's society, which strives to make economic progress compatible with nature conservation, places like this are becoming more appreciated since few sites in Europe reflect such a high degree of sustainable development. This geographic area of high ecological value is made up of Val de Alcalá, Val de Ebo and Val De Gallinera, along with the municipal districts of Latzubia, Fauna and Pego. These fertile lands have been inhabited since time immemorable, as shown for example by the remains of the Moorish settlement of Latzubieta in Val de Alcalá. Spring arrives early in Pego y los Bais. Rock roses, red valerians, honeysuckles and other Mediterranean plants flower all around. Hedge bindweeds and water lilies can be seen in Majal de Pego, although the greatest display occurs in Val de Gallinera, where thousands of cherry trees are covered in pure white. Birdsong fills the different valleys, and in Pego, one voice stands out among the rest in the reed bed. It is the great reed warbler, which can be heard throughout the nature reserve from early April. While the males of many species try to attract females, migrating birds stop over in the Majal Marsh to get their strength back on their long journey northwards. In the Latzubia countryside, blackbirds incubate their eggs. Further afield, and among the rugged crags of Val de Ebo, kestrels are busy mating. The procreative instinct can be seen all over, which means that new generations will soon appear. Meanwhile, a longed-for fruit is gradually taking shape, namely cherries from Val De Gallinera. According to an old saying, Val De Gallinera, good oil and better cherries. The highly prized fruit is collected from late April. At this time, people from all the municipal districts and of all ages come together harmoniously to make the most of the harvest. This is an excellent example of sustainable development, where economic benefits and respect for nature go hand in hand. After collection, cherries undergo a selection process in which the fruit size and appearance are the most important factors. Farmers then go to the cooperative, where all the members unload the day's harvest. Another quality control is carried out here to check that the cherries are the correct size for marketing. Ready for transport, Val de Gallinera's cherries will be distributed throughout Spain and different European countries. Oblivious to the hard work in the cooperative, the miracle of life has occurred in the nests of blackbirds, Sardinian warblers and nightingales, and mothers and fathers take turns at feeding. Keeping the nest clean of droppings is just as important as feeding the chicks. Spring continues, and in Majal de Pego, female mallards take their chicks for a walk. Young specimens of all species are fed by their parents or fend for themselves. Even outside the nest, some chicks keep on asking their parents for food, as is the case of magpies. But danger can be lurking around every corner, and the little bittern awaits its time. This house sparrow chick did not survive the kestrel's attack. Food for some means death for others. But in Majal de Pego, food sometimes rains down. This is airborne rice sowing. This sowing method is unique in all the Mediterranean, and the Les Tanques rice cooperative has been using it for years. This blessing from above is not overlooked by ducks, who go to the rice fields at dusk to take their small share. A June day dawns. The days are getting longer. The temperature is rising and hikers trek through the valleys, where the famous Forada is one of the most popular attractions. Meanwhile, the heat can be felt in Barranco de Infierno, and at midday there is peace and quiet everywhere. Summer has arrived. It is flowering time for other plants, some of which look strange, such as the bulrush. An important change takes place in the Mahal Marsh, which in late June is covered by an extensive green carpet made up of rice fields. Here in the wetland, animals have no problems overcoming the heat, as in the case of the whiskered tern. However, in Val de Alcalá, Val de Ebo, or Val de Gallinera, finding water at this time of year becomes difficult. The scarce sources of water attract a lot of animals that come to cool down and quench their thirst. Nevertheless, there is a place in Val de Ebo that has its own microclimate. It is called Cueva de Brull. Located about 2 kilometers from the village of Ebo, it was discovered by chance by Rull, a local resident. It now belongs to the town council, which has opened it for visitors. Stalactites, stalagmites, and other karstic formations are on display throughout the cave, in the midst of a very cool and damp atmosphere. Temperature and humidity conditions that are the envy of the Pego Natura ecological rice growers, who undertake maintenance work in the middle of summer to guarantee a good crop of the so-called bomba and bonbon varieties of rice that are grown in Pego. While farmers sweat buckets, tourists enjoy a relaxing sail along the buoyant river in idyllic surroundings.
Hartas para tú buscar la gorra.
The buoyant river is also a place for playing games and having fun. Shade is scarce in sunny spots, so any small area is exploited. The sunshine is even strong for the large ladder snake, and seeking refuge becomes a necessity. The suffocating heat does not, however, affect a singular bird that visits the Mahal Marsh at this time, namely the greater flamingo, which keeps busy even at midday. Summer goes by, one day at a time. And dusk is when man and animal get back to work. And at nightfall, new creatures appear on the scene. The last days of summer coincide with the almond harvest, which is done the traditional way. Carobs are harvested in a similar way. More technology is used to harvest rice in Majal de Pego before the first autumn rains. There seems to be a change in the air. The animals notice it, and birds such as swallows start migrating. Autumn has arrived and the first storms appear. Water regenerates woodland and farmland, as well as the entire river system. Streams and springs overflow with fresh, crystal clear water, and the Majal Marsh is flooded to high levels. This leads in general to a kind of second spring with another explosion of life, briefer but just as beautiful. Well into autumn, the orange harvest begins in La Subia Thorn, continuing in stages until the end of winter. As the season advances, the temperature drops, the days get shorter, and part of the vegetation changes color. And the end of autumn is when another traditional harvest takes place. Once harvested, olives are taken to an oil mill, in this case in the municipal district of Beni Ali, where olive oil is produced and marketed. The arrival of cold weather brings a large number of water birds from Central and North Europe to the Mahal Marsh. It is hunting time.
Dámelo.
Also, at this time, the countryside and farmland in the different valleys are visited by numerous wintering birds. Winter arrives, along with days of dense fog that envelope and bathe the steep slopes and rugged peaks of the mountains. Everything seems to have fallen silent, as if keeping quiet, a somewhat inhospitable situation that continues until sundown. A time that tourists use to gather around the fire of a warm chimney, enjoying the shelter of one of the many holiday cottages available to visitors here.
Ahora, como si fuese una butifarra.
¿Ya sabes lo que es una butifarra?
Sí. No vas a ver.
Yo qué sé.
Days of fog can be followed by a crisp dawn, which turns the dew into frost. But the weak winter sun is pleasant and ideal for activities such as fishing, which tests our ingenuity and patience. But another, more important battle is taking place in the mountains: survival. This is the golden eagle, the undisputed king of the sky. In nature, life and death go hand in hand, and they can come together any time and anywhere. Here winter does not go by in vain. However, it is short, and by early February, almond trees are covered with their beautiful flowers. Common toads also get ahead of spring, busying themselves with reproduction, whose sole purpose is perpetuating the species. Solitary activity, unlike what is happening at the same time in the Mahal Marsh. Thousands of black-headed gulls congregate in the rice fields, waiting to be fed, in a punctual appointment that takes place every year. This is the job called fangeo, which prepares the fields for spring and uncovers a great quantity of larvae and crawfish, leaving them exposed and defenseless on the surface. Another example of sustainable development in Pego y Las Valles. However, another very different gathering also takes place in Val De Gallinera. It is the lining up of the Forada, an astronomical phenomenon that dates from the 17th century and was recently rediscovered. On March the 8th and October the 4th, and only on these days, the sun sets right behind this enormous hole known as the Forada, shining exactly onto the Francisco Benitaya convent, which only remains today as ruins. This event is an important cultural attraction, along with those of an architectural nature, such as the castles of Benirama and Forna, the settlement of La Subieta, or the snow storerooms in Val de Alcalá. Constructions of incalculable importance, as beautiful as the villages that give life to this geographic area, such as Pego, Azubia, Forna, Ebo, Benirama, Beniali, Benitaya, Benisiba, La Carrocha, Alpatro, Yombay, Benesili, Alcalá, and Beniyaya. Winter comes to an end. Wintering birds return north. Fruit trees are pruned, and the cycle begins again. This is Pego y Las Valles, in which people live in perfect harmony with the environment, in an ancestral relationship that gives rise to memorable stories, pleasant experiences, and where every day is a story of nature.